What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Overtime with RDL. My guest this week is Louisiana Tech sophomore guard Paris Bradley. For those not familiar, it's hard to believe you wouldn't be familiar with Paris, but if you're not familiar with Paris, she's the 2025 Conference USA Freshman of the Year, averaged 14 points per game last season, helped the Lady Techsters go on a run to the WNIT Grade 8. And as we're recording this, currently has Louisiana Tech as the number one seed in Conference USA, regular season champions, their longest win streak in 15 years. So, Paris, I appreciate you hopping on the podcast in a busy time of year for you.
Of course, I'm always looking to do things like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like kind of like I just mentioned at the top there. I mean, obviously this season has been quite a ride for you guys. Obviously, you brought back a lot of returners off last year's team. I think the expectations were clearly high. You were picked as the preseason favorites. I guess just what has just this journey been like for this individual team this year? I know Coach Storr and you guys from the very beginning have said what we did last year.
Mhm.
That's its own separate thing. This year is its own kind of unique journey. I guess maybe describe for me, so far what it's been like.
Um, Start of the season has been, well, it's not really the start anymore, but this season in general has been, very insightful. And I feel like we all set goals individually and as a team to really just come out here and compete for a championship and hopefully make it to the NCAA tournament. So I feel like we just all kind of committed ourselves to that and to each other and to really just learning and embracing the process.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when you come into the season with so many expectations, like, and again, I know it's crazy to say, but like, obviously as a leader, and even though you're still a sophomore, but like, how do you maybe like kind of manage those expectations of like you don't want to lower the standard of, again, like what you guys are capable of accomplishing, but also like not, like you said, making, a bigger deal than what it is and like kind of getting outside yourselves. How do you feel like you kind of manage that?
I think we and me personally, we just kind of just show up and do the work every day. You have to put in and take out what people say and and I guess kind of the expectations that people put on you. You have to, choose some and spit some out and don't take all of it.
I was going to say for you, I know when we talked to you in the summer, I think it was July, you had kind of talked about how, hey, for me personally, I want to try and get to 50, 40, 90, want to be
Mhm.
obviously player of the year and all these personal accolades. Like for you personally, and again, the season still has a long way to go, but I guess just maybe evaluate like your sophomore season at Louisiana Tech. How do you feel like it's gone so far?
I feel like it's going okay. I always feel like you can always do better in, anything that you do. So, I'm not content with where I am, and I know I want to be better, but I'm also appreciative of what I've done thus far.
I was gonna say, how much more comfortable are you just like at the college level now? Like again, I know obviously last year, like there was a lot of firsts, a lot of first,
Yeah.
conference game, first home game, first Conference USA tournament, first postseason games. Like now that you've
Mhm.
kind of gone through that the first time, like how much more comfortable like are you out there?
Yeah, I would say I'm a lot more comfortable because people always talk about like the transition between high school and college, and it is a big transition only because like the college game is so much more focused on numbers and that way of like what you're producing like numerically, and statistically, I'd say, and then focusing on statistics of basketball in general, not just, you as a player. So yeah, honestly, just learning about all that made it a little easier to go into the year this year. And yeah, the scout for teams is a little bit more in depth. And yeah, so yeah.
And I remember we talked, with Coach Story and you, in the preseason, and you guys at the
Mhm.
beginning were saying, this team's got a lot of depth. But obviously now we've seen that, play out throughout this
Yeah.
this year. Like obviously Joy and G, and there's just so many Lex, and there's just so many guards, and obviously a lot of people that you can throw in the post as well. Like as a player, like how much benefit does that give you, like knowing that there's so many options, like on a given night, where it's like,
Mhm.
obviously last year it was you, G, and Jordan that kind of felt like as the core there. Now it's like, that scouting report, like you said, is kind of stretched to like
Yeah.
7, 8 deep.
hmm Yeah, it's definitely helpful because it's hard to guard. Most people, it's a hard thing to get into. You gotta get deep into the scout. You don't have to just learn three or four people. So I think it puts us at an advantage against other teams. Just because we have so much we can do, and like you said, we have so much depth. So it doesn't really matter what five is on the court, knowing that we can still produce.
Yeah, absolutely. We're taking an ad break, then we'll come back to this interview. This portion of Overtime is sponsored by Smith Law Offices. Mike Smith is a three-time Best of Lincoln Parish Award winner for Best Public Servant and Best Attorney. Smith Law Offices is the premier personal injury law firm in Ruston. Visit Smith Law Offices located at 301 South Bonner Street in Ruston for the expert legal representation you need for your personal injury case. Back here with Paris. Paris, this is a segment in the podcast we just kind of explain the journey of just kind of like how you got started in the sport that you played and just kind of maybe walk, our audience through just kind of how you got to Louisiana Tech and just things like that. And obviously from Carrollton, Texas, and obviously, had quite a career there at the high school level. I guess just maybe walk me through like your high school career and just maybe like how you found your way, obviously to Louisiana Tech.
So I'll actually bring it back to when I was 5. That's when I first started playing basketball. At that time, I was forced to play by my parents, and through the years, I got better. And around like my 8th grade year, I really like found a love for the game and really realized I can actually play basketball and I can hopefully like go to college at the time. So yeah, playing in high school, I think was more about like gaining confidence, and then truly like getting better in the year by year. And in the summer, because in high school you can play AAU, so that was always fun. And just gearing up for that because we have like live events, and that's where college coaches can come to tournaments and watch players and interact with their coaches, not necessarily them until your sophomore summer or junior summer, one of the two. So I mean, yeah, with that, I just think it was about learning to lead in high school because I mean, in high school, most people who go to college are probably like the captains or like all-star players in high school. So, yeah, learning to lead, learning to get better in development, taking criticism, learning how to speak to my teammates. Just, I mean, honestly, all that helps with development and getting into college.
I know looking back through some of the stories about when you committed to Louisiana Tech, you kept going back to the idea of like it felt like home and you just felt so
Mhm.
comfortable here. Like I hear that so much from like players like when they talk about like either recruiting or just like staying at the school. Like as a player, like I guess like what does that specifically look like when you know like hey, this feels like a home and like maybe like tangibly how does that play out for you, I guess?
Okay. With that, I would definitely say speaking to your coaches because I obviously only have like this experience with Louisiana Tech, but as a player, I hear many other players talking about how their coach, it doesn't feel right. Like they don't interact with them and it's not very genuine. As opposed to like my experience, I feel like my coaches like truly care about like what I'm doing and then what I'm doing outside of basketball and how that can affect basketball and I feel like they're asking the right questions. And I mean, just being present in my day-to-day life, I feel like that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. You also hear from so many athletes that, regardless of basketball or whatever sport, like that something is obviously motivating them, something's driving them
Mhm.
to be their best. Like, I'm curious, when no one's watching and you're getting in that extra work in the off season and just things like that, like what's motivating you? What drives you?
I would say that what motivates me is one, my family, and then two, just wanting to be better. Um, it's like it's always a thought in my head that you don't want anybody to be better than you, or you don't want anybody to exploit your weaknesses because you know what they are. So I feel like you just should want to get better at those things because of that.
Do you feel like you've always had that mentality as far as like you said, just you never want to be outworked, or do you feel like you said maybe when you got on the AU circuit and realized like hey, I can actually play this at an elite level, like was that when it maybe kind of clicked? Or?
Yeah, I would definitely say like I mentioned earlier, like around that 8th grade summer part, whenever I realized like I wanted to play basketball and you didn't have to like force me to go to the gym anymore. I would definitely say around that time.
You mentioned your family. I'm curious, how influential have they been, throughout this process? Either obviously supporting you, just, in your
Mhm.
collegiate journey, but also, like you said, just kind of getting you started in the sport and kind of giving you that motivation.
Yeah, they know they've I mean supported me honestly like all along the way. They give me their thoughts and opinions on things and it's often truthful. So, and both my parents played sports, college sports. My mom played basketball. My dad played football at Mississippi State. So, I mean, having especially my father's experience, because I mean, being a D1 athlete and football is different than basketball, yes, but having his experiences being told to me, I think was helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Who would you say, and maybe it's someone at Tech, but who would you say throughout your basketball journey has been the biggest influence on you? It could be a coach, a teammate, like who's someone that has poured into you that kind of still sticks with you?
Um, mhm. If I had to say someone, I would say G, only because last year she or Gianna Morris, because last year she was like the other guard that was kind of more so in my position. She was older than me though, and that's who my coaches kind of always like paired us with for like meetings and group activities. So learning from her and hearing her experiences as she had been here 2 years at the time. Well, this that was her second year. But yeah, learning from those experiences and her telling me about her freshman year, I would say helped. And then also, we call her OG, but Olivia Grayson, just talking about her college experience, because I mean, she went to Tulane. Um, so learning about that is interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. We're taking another ad break, then we'll come back to this interview.
Mhm.
This portion of Overtime is sponsored by Rustin Glass. Rustin Glass is a three-time Best of Lincoln Parish Award winner committed to providing the highest quality of repair, replacement, and installation services. Give them a call or visit them at 512 East Georgia Avenue. From repairing cracked glass to installing commercial storefront, Rustin Glass is prepared to assist you with any needs in the glass industry. Back here with Paris. Paris, this is probably my favorite segment of the podcast where we just kind of get to know our guests like off the court and just kind of who they are personally. So I have some fun icebreakers here, just kind of going all over the place. You'll have to bear with me. But in doing some research, I saw that the Lady Texters during the summer, I think with all their returning players, they put up kind of like a get to know you graphic, and there were a lot of
Yeah.
different answers on there. There were a lot of things that I want to dive into with you. I saw that first of all, you said that one of your favorite foods is sushi, and I know
Yes.
that Ruston has quite a few places that can offer that. So I got to know right off the bat, like when you're in Ruston, like what's the go to sushi spot, and like what's the order? What are we getting?
Okay, so while I'm in Reston, the go-to sushi spot is Shushiro. I think they have really fresh sushi, and you can taste that because you can taste when sushi's old. So yeah, I would definitely say Shushiro. And then my order from there is the Long King roll and the Shaggy. It's called the Shaggy Dog roll, but they both essentially have shrimp tempura, cream cheese, avocado, and the Shaggy roll has like crab, imitation crab on top. Mhm.
Are you someone that like where you'll have like both cooked and raw sushi, or like do you kind of prefer one
Mhm.
or?
I feel like I more so prefer cooked, but I'm not opposed to raw. Like I do eat sushi for real. So I do like sashimi. So that's good too.
Okay, I love that. I've also through research and just I think seeing some of your social media posts as well. I know that you're a big anime fan, so I
Mhm.
have to ask, like, if you had to power rank like your top three. I know that's probably a loaded
Okay.
question, but if you had to rank your
Mhm.
top three, like, what would you say?
Um, I would definitely have to put Naruto and Attack on Titan in like that 1-2 spot. I feel like they're interchangeable, or they could just both be at one. They're both really just great animes, and I feel like anime in general just teaches you about life. There's so many lessons in anime that are just seen. And then third, I might say Death Note. That's another good one. It's a psychological anime. Yeah, I think that's good if you like that type of genre.
Yeah, I haven't watched a couple in a few years, but during college, my roommate and I
Mhm.
we grinded Attack on Titan, and like
Yes.
I was honestly like so like upset like because they kept like pushing back like the release schedule of like, oh,
Hmm.
this is the final season, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, actually we have three parts to it. It's like, come on, just
Hmm.
like I want to see it.
Yeah. Especially with Attack on Titan, like there's such a great anime. Yeah, and then the story building in that is probably the best I'll ever see. So
So let that be a lesson for our audience. If you have not had a chance to watch it, definitely spend some time and get invested in
yeah.
it for sure. What would you say is your favorite TV show?
My favorite just regular TV show. If I had to say a cartoon, I would say SpongeBob, but if I had to say like a real TV show, I would probably say either Scandal or the early seasons of The Flash.
Okay, yeah. On this podcast, we count SpongeBob as a real show. So, in Ruston, I know you mentioned Sushi Row, but like after a game or on a weekend with friends, like what are some places in Ruston that you like to go to? What are kind of some of the popular spots?
I I would say Chili's only because they're open later, and most of the time we finish playing around like 9:30ish. And then you have to actually like get out the taxi, get undressed, and all of those stuff. So I feel like Chili's is mainly the thing that's open. So that's one that we always kind of resort to.
I know usually at the TAC they have like pregame music going around, but like when it's just
Mhm.
you, like either privately getting a workout in or like at practice, are you someone that like you want to listen to music while you're warming up, or like what's kind of your
Mhm.
stance on that?
I actually don't really have a preference. If I'm like in the gym by myself, I'll probably grab the speaker and I'm listening to like 90s music, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, Solange, people like that. Um, I might get into like new school R&B, so like some Drake, SZA, Brent, Bryson Tiller. So yeah, that's kind of what I listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. Who would you say is the GOAT of basketball? Could be women's, men's, could just be in general. Who would you say is the GOAT of basketball?
My goat is Michael Jordan. I actually get a lot of backlash for this, but I have nothing against LeBron. I'm gonna say that for this podcast. I don't have anything against LeBron. I promise you, I don't. But Michael Jordan is my goat.
Yeah, in case LeBron's listening, check this out. We'll make sure to let him know. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel like about? I mean, obviously it goes without saying, but I guess just like for you, like what do you feel like makes Mike just obviously just above LeBron?
Mhm. I would definitely say that Mike is above LeBron for me because of his mentality. Like I feel like he had people scared to even compete with him because he's willing to go so far just to beat you. And then I feel like with his era, the way he brought up basketball like as a sport in general and brought so much attention to it, with minimal media coverage in that time, I think it's just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he's made the most popular shoe brand. So yeah.
Yeah, basically, yeah. What would you
Mhm.
say is this could be basketball related if you wanted to, but what would you say is your biggest pet peeve in life?
My biggest pet peeve in life? It's a good question. I don't know. If I had to say something, I mean, I would say I'm a little impatient, so I guess things taking like too long or longer than like my schedule I have made for it to take, if that makes sense. Like if I sometimes, majority of the time, I do build like a daily schedule in my head. So I guess when I get outside of that schedule is whenever I get a little, I guess, irritated.
Yeah, when we had your teammate Gianna Morris on earlier, she said that one of hers was like driving. So like when people
Mm.
like either like are too slow driving or like they don't like put on their blinkers or whatever. It's like I don't know if that's
Uh-huh.
something you like relate to or
I like that with that, I would definitely say the blinkers because you're just now it looks like you're just slowing down for no reason, but you're actually turning and then it just yeah, I don't like that either.
yeah, absolutely. Last one for you here in this part. This could be again high school, college, whoever. Who would you say is the funniest teammate you've ever had?
The funniest teammate I had. Um, I'll keep it at Louisiana Tech, but I would probably say Joy Madison Key. Her or KT. They both I don't know, they both just be talking sometimes. And then sometimes they're just unironically funny or yeah. So I would probably say them.
I was gonna say, Coach told us about KT like earlier in the season about how like she's quiet and like she'll just kind of like throw something out there, and it's like,
Yes.
wait, did she just like say that?
Yeah. So I would definitely say them too. Joy always talks, and then KT says just a few words, but they're funny. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take one last ad break, then we'll come back to this interview. This portion of Overtime is sponsored by Southern Classic Chicken, proudly sponsoring local athletes. Southern Classic Chicken is the winner of the 2024 and 2025 Best of Lincoln Parish Award for Best Chicken. Located at 1010 East Georgia Avenue in Ruston, serving the best, most delicious fried chicken and sides in Louisiana for more than 35 years. With chicken so good, it's wrong. Southern Classic Chicken. Back here with Paris for the final segment here. Paris, again, we're recording this obviously before the Conference USA tournament, and who knows what can come after that as well. But I'm curious for you. You got like I said, you got some experience in the conference tournament last year. Obviously, made the WNIT run. Like, what do you feel like about those postseason experiences? Like, what do you feel like you can take, going into obviously this year's run that you hopefully want to make?
I would definitely say just continuing to show up and do the work because you never really know when your last game is. So I feel like you just need to compete like every game is your last game. So yeah, just show up and do the work, be consistent in who you are and your identity to the team. And if anything, help keep your teammates on board because at the end of the day, it is a team sport. So I definitely feel like just, I mean, if we can maintain some sort of focus to a high level, we will be good. And that's kind of what I would take from last year to this year.
I remember Coach Storr telling us, I think it was after that Illinois State game that she walked in the locker room and like she could just tell like on everyone's face and like kind of the look that they had was Like they basically were ready to like get back and like just wanted to kind of put something
Hmm.
together and like make a run like this coming season. Like how
Yeah.
much do you kind of are motivated like off losses and then like kind of use that to I guess fuel, what you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, as just I think even just a regular like human being, losing is just a part of, I mean, it's a part of success. So with that, I just think it's kind of hard because I don't know, like there's so much you can learn from losses because whenever you win, kind of like what Audie Kirk said earlier in this year, when you win, like it kind of like denounces what you did and like your shortcomings because you still won the game. But when you lose, like it's highlighted it, and because that's how you lost with the little things, the little like a building of little things that you didn't do well that night. So I mean, yeah, I would kind of just say that losing just impacts success in so many ways.
Absolutely. Last one for you here. This is a big one. If what would it just mean for you personally, like to be part of the group that got this program back to the NCAA tournament?
That, I mean, it would just be, I mean, such a beautiful opportunity to say that we kind of brought back Louisiana Tech because I mean they were so good back in the 90s, 80s and 90s. Um, I mean, yeah, literally a Final Four team at that time. So, I mean, to be a part of something like this, it's a really beautiful journey, and just I can't be anything but blessed and thankful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, if you have not had a chance to watch the Lady Texters play, by the time we put this out, they'll actually be heading to the Conference USA tournament. So you'll have to either go to Huntsville or just watch them on
Mhm.
ESPN Plus. But definitely looking forward to what this postseason run has, because again, I mean they're on a historic run right now, and the way things are going and the depth that they have, it seems to be a pretty special season, coming up here. So Paris, I appreciate you hopping on, and looking forward to what the rest of the season has.
Of course, thank you for having me.